Greetings, hi everyone, welcome to this reading. This is for Pisces and this is a yearly forecast for you from February 2019 leading into the very first month of 2020. Now for some of you that might seem a long way away, but goal setting and looking into the future and seeing visions and being able to visualize all these things are what help us to get where we're wanting to go. So I have been shuffling the cards with your intention. I will do a little bit more. This is a 12 card spread, one for each month using this deck. So with that in mind, let's see what's in store for Pisces for the yearly forecast. Okay guys, that's it. Your first card arriving is for February 2019 and it is the 9 of Pentacles. Your second one is March and it is the 8 of Swords. Your third one is April and it is the 8 of Pentacles. And I've said to a few other star signs, you know, when the numbers turn up very similar and they're next to each other or diagonally connected, they're replaying out a message. So there's two 8s together. So the 8 could have a powerful meaning or message for you, and especially in the months that they are referring to. Your fourth card is May and it is the Chariot, which is your first major arcana. Your second row starts off with June, that is the 10 of Swords, the 10 of Wands. Then we have the Hanged Man for July. Then for August we have the Lovers. And then for September we have the 6 of Swords. Now this is interesting, the deck has been shuffled, but these cards, a lot of these came out for a previous, one of the previous readings, which was Sagittarius, I think. Now I do tell people to check their moon and rising signs because often the messages can be really either synchronistically similar or also contain interesting information for you guys. So coming down to the last row we have October, which is the Death card. Then we have November, which is the 10 of Swords. Then we have December, which is Temperance. And then for moving into 2020 we have January, which is the 3 of Wands. So you guys have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 major arcanas, which is quite a lot out of 12. It's not, it's slightly under obviously the halfway mark, but it feels like a year where there's going to be a relatively good degree of universal energy and input and sort of making changes and stepping things up and moving them all around. Let's begin at the very top with that first one in February. This is the 9 of Pentacles. Now I know sometimes we can't necessarily see all the cards equally in vision or view, but I do my best to sort of try and get them all visible to you. The 9 of Pentacles, a great way to start with February coming up. She's opulent, she's healthy, so quite often a lot of you could be feeling good health around about this time. She exudes, you know, that earth grounded feeling and nurtured and being at one with nature. Her physicality is particularly good. She reminds me of sort of like a yoga teacher or a guru or something. So some of you might be feeling really into that type of connection with your bodies, like movement, freedom, happiness, feeling fit and healthy and sated. She also bodes quite well financially, so for some of you this could be a sign of good positive finances, either in your job or career, or if you own a business in a business sector. Maybe this is also to do with dividends or finances or the approval of things like loans or the paying off of a loan or the gifting of money to you. She also sometimes portends like attending functions or hosting functions as well. So some of you may be going to sometimes big events where there are lots of people, so like a big public event or even a large thing like a really big wedding or, you know, a ceremony of some sort where there are, I just keep seeing a lot of people. So whether it's a concert outdoors where it's all happy and energetic and positive. Anyhow, we move to the next one, which is March, and we sort of go from one to the other. We flipped a wee bit there. So we've got the Eight of Swords. She denotes feeling a wee bit tense, anxious and worried from her own mindset. So oftentimes this card will tell you that it's not necessarily a true problem that's out there, but you're overthinking something or over worrying about something. Now this could be to do with, because it's the swords are often about the mind or communication or written documentation. So for some of you this could be about signing contracts or receiving them or waiting for them, or hearing about something to do with a legality or a court order or something with the law or accounting or taxation, something along those lines. And some of you might be panicked or thinking, oh my God, I don't know how to deal with this, or how did I get myself into this? But the reality is, if you take your time and think about it, use some logic, put your thinking cap on and take one step at a time, you'll work through it and you'll be able to come out the other side and go, wow, that wasn't so bad. And we see as you move into April, you find much more stability with the same number, the 8. Now the 8 is a good number. It often represents some sort of financial acclaim or stability or manifestation of something. He shows us that by diligently working through things, he can, you know, it can be paid, it can pay itself off. It's a positive when you put your mind in your hands to a skill to reap the rewards. So sometimes this is a financial reward, sometimes it's a physical reward as well. Sometimes it's an acclaim or like a promotion within a company or a workplace, an acknowledgement or an idea or a concept that you're working on is growing and taking shape. So this can be at your own personal level, it could be about starting a new business, it could be about an invention, any of those type of things. Now interestingly, both of these cards together could be referring to some health issues, some physical health issues. Some of you might, going from this really great start over here, some of you could almost feel as though something's stopping you in your physical body, and it could be in your spine or your back, legs or thighs or up through the shoulders, and you might need manipulation or freeing up some way or another. Some of you will go to doctors, some of you will go to holistic practitioners and kind of get some sort of relief. Also, it would be a really good time to ground yourselves into, you know, allowing that base chakra area to flow freely so that your money and your home and your fear and flight modalities are balanced out. Because you've got a little bit more of that coming through towards the end of the year. So it could be a year where you work on your inner psyche, you know, that calming meditation, peacefulness, connecting with earth, connecting with source energy and finding harmony around you one way or another. We come to May with the Chariot, and the Chariot again is kind of about yin and yang, black and white, male and female, night and dark. It's about balance. So finding the balance, and we talked about that a little bit just a minute ago, and finding the harmony. And when you do, everything has more power and surgence and activity and gusto and force and movement behind it. So the Chariot is a card of great strength. It's like from here when you felt weakened and there's possibly a bit of weakness coming through here, but you can see how strong he is. So he regains a strength, or he maintains a strength, and when he gets to here, he seems to have this penultimate strength. So that it also looks to me as though the eclipses may have played a role. We had the eclipses in January. I think the others are in July. So there could be something about the eclipses that are either bringing on strength or, you know, making it wane, wax and wane a little bit, and maybe the moon is playing a role in that too. But the Chariot can mean movement at physical levels. So for some of you this could mean moving house. Now it could mean temporarily, so it could mean going on a trip. like quite a long trip and you rent a holiday house, or you go to another place and you live in a home for a while. Maybe some of you are renovating and you move out of your home while the renovations are taking place. Maybe some of you are doing a road trip and you go on a long road trip. Possibly it's for business, possibly for pleasure. So the Chariot can also represent things to do with cars or vehicles that travel on the road. Some of you might be purchasing a new one, or you might have issues with or around your vehicles that you drive on the road one way or another. So yeah, road trips, shifting, moving homes, shifting your dynamic or perspective in life, regaining strength, becoming stronger, the whole spiritual connection becoming more vital or vitalized one way or another, or you understand it more, or you're traveling down that road or journey as well. We come down here to the second row and we start with the 10 of Wands in June. That can sometimes mean you are coming to the end of a project one way or another, something that you could have been working hard on over a long period of time. You've gained a lot of knowledge from it, but sometimes it can feel as though it's been draining or taking longer than it should, or has claimed a toll on you one way or another. However, what you've learned, although you may not understand it all yet, is going to significantly impact the future and the way you go forward, and the advice and knowledge and wisdom that you have to offer others, as well as your own road that you take. So it's a good card in terms of gaining insight and awareness and having worked really diligently and at a creative sector as well. So it is the tending toward the end of a cumulative period or project that you've been working on. Possibly the beginning also of starting a new one is coming into your mind, or you're thinking of, you know, I've done this now, I want to move on, I'm interested in something new. Can I use all my information and pull it together to create a new awareness, or even like an invention sometimes. Coming to July, we see the Hanged Man, the second of your major arcanas. This can also reference a very spiritual awakening, similar to the Chariot, so a spiritual connection. It can mean that you just have this aha moment or epiphany. It can also mean that you are at a crossroads in life, a little bit similar to the one next door to you, about the 10, you know, finishing off something, deciding which way to go. The Hangman can still have that feeling, almost as if you're still weighing things up, or the universe hasn't sent you yet the right pathway to take, or you're waiting on it. So sometimes the Hanged Man can also indicate a waiting period, being in status, not moving as quickly as you would like. It can be a sign of, as I say, making choices, deciding to stay or go, or leave or start something new. Now, interestingly, the Lovers card next to it for August can also represent making choices, deciding to stay or go. So the Lovers card is a beautiful one. It represents many different aspects of life again. It can be the physical union of two people. So for some of you, this could literally mean a new soulmate coming into your life around this time of the year. It can be a very deep, fulfilling, satisfying, intimate relationship. For others of you who are already in this type of relationship, it could just mean the spark is deepened and becomes more committed. For some of you, it's the possibility of starting a new business, a very successful one with a co-partner. For others, it can mean the coming in of a new pet, a pet that becomes a very deep, loving soulmate relationship as well. And for others of you, this can be about making this choice that we talked about, to stay or go. It's about choosing which commitment you are interested in and which one you will leave behind. Sometimes the Lovers card can turn up when there are things like an affair or a third person involved in a situation. And this is sometimes where the choice comes in. And again, because this is a general reading, it will be very different for how each of you view that particular card. I do tell you all to really tune into your own intuitive perspective of the meanings of the card and what you feel when you look into it. So always take your intuitive guidelines as well. We come to the next card, which is September, and we see the Six of Swords. Now, well, this is quite cool. I hadn't looked at it before, but these two are both travel cards, and they're touching each other and connected. So I do think for a lot of you that travel could be in the air for 2019, and possibly maybe these two are connected. Maybe you go on a road trip that also involves a sea trip, or an air trip that involves a road trip as well. But the Six of Swords can mean leaving something behind. And we've talked about this here with a lot of this. It's got kind of like finishing, changing directions, making up your mind, trying to decide, possibly new directions here, or leaving something behind, making a choice, leaving something behind. So this whole row going through there, through sort of that middle of the year period, could initiate quite a lot of change in direction for you. Now this doesn't have to be physical, it can be at the metaphysical or spiritual level as well. So the Six of Swords can mean sea travel, or travel across an ocean to another country. It can mean for a holiday or business. It can also mean to live permanently. It can often refer to the fact that you're moving out of some sort of troubled water and into something calmer and more fulfilling and more peaceful. So if any of you have been in a situation that has created a bit of angst or upset, that it could be solving itself through many different layers or levels of work or interpretation or understanding or connection. Coming down to October, and we see yet again the new beginnings, leaving something behind, which is what the Death card is. Sometimes this is a very transformational card, and it can mean that you're shedding an old skin and you're just ready to peel off layers of you and transform yourself into this new beginning, this new awakening and awareness. It can be again a very spiritual card at a very deep level. It's also personal for each and every one of you as to what it is referencing. For some of you it could be your own soul, you're cleaning things out, you're growing, you're evolving. For others it could be you're cleaning out your physical life, such as friendships or relationships or a business. For some of you it might be a health thing. You might be kicking a long-term health illness out. It could be moving into a new phase. For some of you it could be relationships, spiritual changes, all sorts of different things. We come to November and we see the 10, so we've got a second 10, and again they're on a diagonal here together. And this 10 of Swords is not that pretty to look at, and it often does come to us a little bit unexpectedly. So it can be sort of sudden and out of the blue. It can be feeling let down by others. So there could be, as you come towards the end of a project and you feel like you might have had a lot on your shoulders, you may have even been supporting other people through something, whether it was their illnesses or a mental health journey or a fragility in their own life, and then suddenly they've finished and they've got through that, and then they go, oh thanks, I don't need you anymore. And you go, oh really? Well, that, why is this happening? And they sail off in a new direction and they leave you feeling deflated. That can be the type of thing that happens with this card. So when it does turn up, again it's about new birth. So both of these cards are telling us there's something here about new birth coming. So letting the old go and pass out and just moving into new directions. This one can be denoted as being a bit painful when it happens and having a wee bit of sorrow around it, whereas like this one up here is more fiery and passionate and taking the knowledge and the wisdom with you into a place that is beneficial for both yourself and others. This one is beneficial for yourself now. It's not thinking about anyone else, it's about you and regaining your impetus, your gusto, your moving forward, regaining power and passion if you've been deflated. Now I also note we talked a bit up here, a little bit about the back and the spine possibly, and this card can reference it and so can this card. So for some of you, I think there could be something in the year, as the year progressed, that could be physical, relating to some parts of your body where the spine is talking to you. So is it your inner parts like your bowel, or like celiacs, or irritable bowel, or something autoimmune, or is it your actual bones and your spine, your shoulders, your hips, your thighs? Something for some of you feels like you need to address it at a physical health perspective, and you could go, you know, and have to find some treatment somewhere. The other thing that this card can represent is the passing over of someone, and it's often an older person, and it's because they've come to a terminal stage of their life. So for some of you that could represent that ending of life for someone that you know, and sometimes it's either a close friend or an older family member. We come to December and we see the Temperance card, 1 foot on the land and 1 on the water. She is really tuning into her intuitive abilities and talking to the universe. We've got this halo around the head here, which was also around the head here in the traditional tarot. So this is again about illumination, awareness, a spiritual connecting, a spiritual awakening, understanding that the body needs balance in particular, and especially diet related things. So I think for you guys there's a real physicality for this year to do with your body. You know, it started off up here almost as if she was saying, I'm going to nurture my body, I'm going to love it and value it. And then as the year goes through, perhaps you sort out some sort of physical things that have been annoying you, or that needed addressing, or that crop up as you move things through. Sometimes this is because you clear blockages, you know, when you address situations, and blockages can manifest in the physical body. But temperance is always about balance, and making sure we maintain balance at the emotional, physical and spiritual level. So that's the message for December, just to remember that when we're in the busy mood of partying and, you know, festivities, to bring balance into our life. And then as you move into January 2020, we have the Three of Wands, and this is a good card to start a year with, because it's talking about looking into the future, goal setting, expansion, ideas, creativity, and it's often associated with our career aspects, or the things that bring us passion and give us our connection to others in society. Now this card can often mean the growing of a business, something expanding, new ideas coming in, offers of jobs, you know, promotions, being acknowledged, all sorts of positivities. So it's a very positive, creative card. So a great way to start 2020, which might seem a long way off, but goal setting and intention setting can be very powerful ways of working through a year. And when you get an overall picture like this to work with, you can choose how to selectively deal with some of the issues that might be around. So I always think forewarned is forearmed, and that it can be beneficial for us in so many ways. So hey, thanks for joining everyone. I love it when you leave your comments. Remember to check your moon and rising signs. You might be, if you've got Sagittarius in your chart, you might be interested to find that a lot of those cards were in there. So yeah, please sub the channel and push the notification button, because that's the best way to see when the uploads are coming. My channel seems to have been pushed down a little bit on the, you know, when you do the searches, it's not coming up the way it should be. There seems to be a fundamental little issue going on at the moment. So to keep the channel going and all the work happening and the new creative ideas coming through, it really helps it all to work and flow. So thanks again everyone. I wish you all a fantabulous year ahead. Much love. Namaste.